Dennis, why don't we get started?
Good afternoon, I'm Dennis Galucki. Welcome to the 460th Imagine Greater Buffalo program and our 82nd virtual Imagine lecture, hosted by our wonderful Buffalo and Erie County Public Library. Thanks so much for joining us today. This program is created by the Center for the Study of Art, Architecture, History, and Nature, and ImagineLifelongLearning.com. Now, we're going to start with our speakers shortly, but first, a little housekeeping. Everyone watching will be muted during our speakers presentation. If you do have a question, please type it into the chat box and we'll get to as many as we can. This program is being recorded, so you'll be able to watch it again later on the Downtown Central Library's Facebook page and their YouTube channel. And we hope you share the link with your friends and networks. Now, this is the first Tuesday of the month. So at the center, we look at art and creativity. And you'll see that both words are most appropriate for today's presentation. Frederick Law Olmsted, celebrating Olmsted 200, certainly the creativity and art. You saw our logo incorporating that design of Olmsted is at the center of our presentation, that we will be looking at both that design and Buffalo's future through that design. Now, our featured speaker is Stephanie Crockatt. Stephanie joined the Buffalo Olmsted Parks Conservancy in 2014. Originally as the Director of Development, she was hired into the role of Executive Director in May of 2015. Stephanie's previous careers included 13 years with ladies professional golf tournament management and several years in development with the University of Georgia. Building upon her background in landscape architecture with nonprofit association management and higher ed fundraising has brought Stephanie's career full circle. Today, she oversees a mission of enhanced stewardship for Buffalo's historic Olmsted Park system, which is on the National Register of Historic Places. It is also the first urban park system designed in America. Now, this is also the first of 4 Imagine programs in May and June featuring Buffalo speakers who will be part of Buffalo Day at Chautauqua, the 13th annual Buffalo Day at Chautauqua. This year will be Tuesday, July 5th. For more details, go to the Chautauqua website and simply put Buffalo Day into their search and you'll get all the information you need to know. It is free all day for Buffalo, greater Buffalo area residents. So now let's begin by welcoming Stephanie Crockatt, who will discuss Olmsted design and Buffalo's future. Stephanie?
Thank you, Dennis. And thank you to everyone involved with this Imagine series. I think it's fantastic. I'm going to share my screen with you to show you this presentation. Hopefully this works. Let's see. I'm not sure how to do this. So anyway, can you see this?
We can.
Okay, great. Sorry, it's not, for whatever reason, going full screen. But the Conservancy has been in a stewardship role with the Olmsted Parks here in Buffalo since 1978 when we were formed. And we were mostly involved with advocacy and capital project planning. But then in 2004, we also took over the role of maintenance, which is really unique. We're the only conservancy in the nation still, I believe, that is also taking care of an entire park system. We have some that take care of one park. We're actually taking care of 24 Olmsted legacy properties here in Buffalo. And I think everybody probably agrees that the value of our park system is getting more important, especially with this whole pandemic that we've gone through. We saw an increase of about 40% use of the parks during the past 2 years, and we only anticipate it to get even higher. And as you know, Olmsted designed a lot of his park spaces for the absolute purpose of wellness and community connection for everyone. So with that, just a little bit more about the public-private partnership that we have with the city of Buffalo. As we are an independent nonprofit, we are in an agreement with the city since 2004 for the maintenance. It's interesting, there's over 160 park properties in the city of Buffalo. 24 of those, as I said, were designed by Olmsted, but yet those 24 make up about 50% of the city's parkland. And the city supports our labor costs to the best that they can. There is a gap. We fundraise for that gap, as well as we fundraise for the capital projects, all the volunteerism support, all the programming. So we actually fundraise for about 60% of our budget annually. We also are very unique with this park system because the way that it was designed across the whole city.
Sorry, Stephanie, if I could interrupt.
Sure.
We've had multiple people comment that your voice is very low, or your audio is very low.
Okay, let me see if I can change that. Oops. We'll see if I can just increase my volume. Maybe that will help. Is that helping at all? I'll get a little closer if I have to.
That helps. I think getting closer.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think getting closer because you are still quite quiet.
Okay, I'll shout. But we believe that the park system is home to a lot of really interesting cultural connections that many other park systems may not have. We have significant cultural presence, even with the fact that the Darwin Martin House was put into Parkside Community, which is also on the National Register and is one of only a handful of neighborhoods that Olmsted designed. We've actually started doing some research on this, but we believe that we have the highest concentration of cultural institutions within our present system. And we also believe, and we're doing a little bit more research on this, that Martin Luther King Park is the only Olmsted park that was renamed for Dr. King. And if that is the case, we're going to be doing a lot more celebrations on MLK Day here in Buffalo. So with that, let's see. So parks were for everyone. That's what Olmsted wanted. And he was very intentional in his design for Buffalo that we were connected and that these spaces were very inclusive with equal access. And that's something that we really hold near and dear today because all of the parks are free. Access is for everyone. There's really not even, you don't even have to pay to park at the parks. So they are open 24/7. And part of this whole thing is we are embracing Olmsted 200. Olmsted turned 200 on August 26th this year. And we're part of a national campaign with the National Association for Olmsted Parks out of DC. There has been coast to coast activity happening in showcasing the legacy of Olmsted Sr., while also talking about the fact that his legacy went on through his sons and his firm for years on. His legacy actually runs from about 1850 through about 1979, I believe, when you consider all of the work of his sons as well. So we have some very fun birthday projects that are going to be happening in 2022. We're actually going to celebrate the birthday all the way through next April so that we can get in a little bit of winter activity as well. But the Grand Staircase in Hoyt Lake is going to be one of our featured projects. We'll be restoring that this year, hopefully with a ribbon cutting in the fall. We've got the MLK Junior Park Monument Plaza is going to see all new artistic lighting as an enhancement. And then we received a grant as well to restore the surface of the pavers over at that plaza. That will be happening throughout the summer. And then, of course, we had to bring back Flamingos. We will be reattempting the world record on June 21st in Front Park. We are going to try to break the new record. We set it, if you know, in 2018 with over 1,500 flamingos, and we were beat in 2020 by a breast cancer group out of South Carolina. So this year we are going to try to retake the world record with over 4,260 flamingos in honor of 4/26 of his birthday. And so that is going to be happening, which hopefully will bring us a bit of national recognition as well. So we've got many partners for progress with the Conservancy. This is a list of just a few of them. We were really, really thrilled that the public library this year is showcasing an exhibit that was developed especially for Olmsted 200. We've got another copy of this that we've been trying to take around, but the public library had the most extensive exhibit. It had all of the slides. So that was a lot of fun. And this is being shown across the nation as well, which is very exciting. So I think one of the things that Dennis mentioned was this whole future vision. And we tend to be a little bit Olmsted centric in our thinking as well, because what would he think if he were here today? We've said before, you know, what would Olmsted do? But there's a part of this that is also, what would he think if he came and he saw the system today? Have we sustained his connective vision? Have we created that city within a park that was so important to his legacy here in Buffalo? We know that our role was deemed essential. Our workers, they worked every single day throughout the pandemic to make sure that these parks were healthy spaces for people to get out and enjoy. And we find that we're even dealing with this balance of the historic integrity of the parks with the modern needs that other folks have. And how would Olmsted want us to approach the balancing of history with modern? And so we talk about how we're going to continue to steward these parks. They are his namesake. I believe if he was here today, he'd be asking us, but what about the other parks? Yes, we're taking care of 50% of that parkland, as I mentioned before, but there are many other parks that should be included in this connection, not just the ones that he designed. And so we're going to be talking about this as a nonprofit group. We're actually in a process of looking at our mission and vision. There may be parts of our mission from before in the early 2000s when we took over maintenance that we've actually accomplished. And is there a way to take our vision forward for this to be not just about a specific set of parks, but more about the principles that Olmsted presented to Buffalo? And are we really shepherding and stewarding that connective vision? So we're actually going to be exploring that a lot through the next year or so, and reshaping what we feel that our contributions as a conservancy should be for this park and all parks. So it's exciting to be thinking that way. And so we look forward to engaging more with the community on this discussion. We have our new Olmsted Community Alliance, which has meetings happening every quarter where we ask the public to help us with feedback and initiatives, and just to make sure that we are having that communication connection. So we've got a lot ahead of us, and I'm just happy that I could present a little bit about that. And I think that there's probably more from a Q&A standpoint. I'm happy to take any questions. So I'm just gonna thank you again. I hope everybody's enjoying Olmsted 200's year, and just know that we've got a lot more that's to come.
Stephanie, that's great. That gets us started. We'll invite folks to, again, remind you to submit into the chat box any questions that you have, and Melissa will curate those questions. But let me ask the larger question, Stephanie. How does the Conservancy, yeah, let's get that off here. There. How does the Conservancy connect with the transportation people to figure out ways that connect these parks, both the ones that you oversee, the 50% of the parks, but in the grand vision that everybody feels like they literally are just a few minutes away with a walk or a bicycle ride to a park, including the Olmsted parks. How does that dialogue happen?
Well, that's where the partnerships are so important, Dennis, especially with groups like Go Bike Buffalo, so that we have conversations about like the bike master plan. And even right now, the GBNRTC is actually holding one of their public meetings tomorrow night, I believe, through Buff State, to have a conversation even about how we restore connections such as, you know, the 33, and whether or not we can cover back over part of the Kensington to reconnect that community, as well as what we need to do with the 198 and making that a more pedestrian bike, you know, multimodal friendly transportation corridor, obviously through the parks. But it makes us have deeper, richer conversations with other partners that are experts in these areas to make sure that we do create these connections. And I will say that I think the Trust for Public Land, the city just did their master plan on recreation, and they identified that we do have a very healthy city in the fact that most people are within a 10-minute walk from a park.
That's a point to really promote that 10-minute factor if it's factual. I don't know if that covers the north, south, east, and west sides of Buffalo, but I would have imagined that would have been somewhat of a vision of Olmsted, so that in celebrating his design and looking towards our future, I hope that's a central theme of how do we really alert everybody in our 42 square mile of city limits that parks are within that 10 or 15 minute maybe distance, a walk, literally a short walk. You know, to get to that. Melissa, how are we doing for questions?
We do have multiple questions. I'm sorry, I don't know why my video still isn't working, but as long as you can hear me. First question, if someone wants to be a gardener for the Olmsted Parks Conservancy, what kind of background do they need and how would they apply?
So if they're looking to actually be employed by us, they could contact the Conservancy's main office here at the Parkside Lodge. We just ask, we don't really have any training qualifications that are required of gardeners, apart from just having some background with the horticultural plants to know which ones are weeds and which ones aren't. We definitely don't want to be pulling out the ones that are supposed to be there. So we have an interview process. We've actually started getting into a little bit of workforce development and training just to that point. So that's exciting on the horizon, but for now, anyone can apply.
Great.
Next question.
You don't need a graduate degree in gardening, then you don't need that to apply. Good.
No, just love and passion for plants.
Go ahead, Melissa.
The next question is, will you be reestablishing parking on the ring in Delaware Park?
Well, that one's not our call. The city's in charge of city streets, and that is considered a city street. So we just finished the survey that had been out there for, I think, 60 days, which was quite extensive. We are in the process of tabulating all of that data right now and submitting that to the city. The city says they're going to be reviewing and that they're going to take everything into consideration when they make their final decision sometime this month.
And where and when can we donate a flamingo?
So the flamingos right now are up for adoption. They can be purchased on the Conservancy's website. And the more you buy, I think the cheaper they are. We want people to have a full flamboyance if they would like. But what happens is the flamingos will all be used during the Guinness World Records stunt, and then they will receive an official Guinness labeling, which then people can bring their adoption certificates and pick up their official Guinness World Record flamingos the day of.
Oh, so they get to take them home and plant them in their front yards
That's right.
or back.
I think you may have touched on this, but someone asked, what is the significance again of the number of proposed flamingos? Is there a charity or cause involved?
So it's a fundraiser for the Conservancy, but we've chosen the number 4,260 because 426 was Olmsted's birthday. So, and that puts us about 1,000 over the current record. Hopefully it won't be broken again anytime soon, but so we're hoping for that. And then as a point, I know that the last time we did this, we got a lot of questions about if not all the flamingos are adopted, what do we do with the extras? And we do have a relationship with Waste Management, and they have agreed to recycle any of the flamingos that we don't sell. But hopefully, as a fundraiser, we will sell all of those flamingos.
Hopefully some entrepreneurs have figured out to create a flamingo plant manufacturing facility here in Western New York, because this record could keep going on and on if it's challenged.
The next question is a bit of a comment and a question. It's from Alan. He said he's recently back from the Great Olmsted Bicentennial Symposium in Boston, where it was heartwarming to find so much interest in buffalo. Many of those there from the National Association of Olmsted Parks were asking about friends in Buffalo with whom they've worked on National Olmsted Parks issues. In regard to that, I'm wondering what Stephanie can tell us about Buffalo's involvement in the formation of the National Association and Buffalo's current role in that.
That's a great question. So I currently sit on the National Association's board. They're out of DC. But the really great point that I think Alan is trying to draw out is that back in 1978 and 79, when Joan Bozer, who was a legislator for Erie County at the time, she helped to galvanize this group that became the Friends of Olmsted Parks and eventually turned into our Conservancy. But they also helped to form the National Association for Olmsted Parks. And that group actually worked out of Buffalo for many years in our offices before they went off on their own and became more of a DC related national association. So Buffalo is not only credited with having Olmsted's first designed park system, but we actually were the birthplace of the National Association for Olmsted Parks, which is really amazing.
And another question, do you offer any kind of classes to the public about landscaping or gardening or anything like that?
We do not offer any classes, but we do try to work with companies and groups that if folks want to come out and participate as a group from a volunteer effort, we teach that way. So we will, if we do tree plantings, we teach how to do the tree plantings through the volunteers. Or if they want to get involved with a planting project, say like in one of the circles or in one of the gardens, then we would teach that way. But we don't offer classes per se. It's all through a group experience.
And this one is just a comment. The Conservancy does a lovely job with flowering plants. It makes us proud to live in Buffalo.
Oh, thank you. We like to think that we're kind of the curb appeal a little bit for Buffalo. And if it makes people's lives better to see some flowers and some displays, then that's what quality of life is all about. And it makes us feel good too.
Those were all the questions that we had.
Well, we've got a few minutes so that if folks, if you have any other questions, please submit them. And Melissa, let us know if others pop in. What a year from now, after the celebration's over, Stephanie, what do you hope for the Conservancy is an outcome of sorts? What awareness is locally or nationally of your good efforts here? What do you hope is some bottom lines that you goals, if you will, for yourself?
Sure. We're really hoping that we can continue to keep Buffalo in the thoughts and minds of everyone with regard to this first in the nation park system. We hope that that would be a bit of a tourism draw. If you were to consider being able to kind of follow an Olmsted trail from Central Park out toward the west, we would hope that Buffalo would be one of those main premier spots that you would want to see on your way. So we're hoping for some increased national exposure. But we're also hoping that Buffalo as a community continues to thrive as a result of these parks and our efforts, as we want to make sure that we continue that city within a park mantra. We continue to work with the city of Buffalo, but we know that even with the new Ralph Wilson Park, there's still a lot of confusion as to what's an Olmsted Park and not an Olmsted Park. But I think in the end, yes, we want to highlight that we've got this wonderful collection of 24 parks that he designed, but Buffalo really is a city of a collection of many parks. And if there's a way that we can use our expertise and leadership and volunteer skills to help improve every park, that is something I think would be on the horizon as a really great goal.
Great, and that would be most, especially I liked what you said, that literally the rest of the country really have that appreciation. Everything starts someplace, and the system idea started here, and that is something to be proud of. I think in some publication recently I read that in his and his successor's lifetime, over 700 parks were created. I mean, that we're talking something that is all over America, and as American as Chautauqua would claim to be. A quote by Teddy Roosevelt, most American thing in America is Chautauqua, he felt. So I come back to this July 5th Buffalo Day. The theme is just perfect for celebrating Olmsted 200, and especially as you're doing it for a length of time into next year. That's a smart idea. None of this one day stuff, one weekend celebration and it's gone. Erie County just finished their EC 200. For my purposes, now calling it EC 200 plus, as we continue to always remember and maybe every April celebrate Erie County's history and develop new projects within that. You've got different projects, and just to finish it up, after the Flamingos come and go, what if you looked at the calendar year, what are the major highlights of that year that emphasize Olmsted Conservancy?
So after Flamingos in June, we've got our fundraising gala in September. We hope to have the Grand Staircase and the Martin Luther King Plaza finished in the fall, hopefully for ribbon cuttings. And then we hope that on Martin Luther King Day in January of 2023, we're hoping to do a really incredible panel discussion with an Olmsted scholar and a scholar of the Martin Luther King papers. Hopefully bringing Harvard and Stanford together for that. And hopefully that'll round out as we get into Olmsted Week of 2023 with Earth Day, the Birthday, and Arbor Day. So
that's a full agenda and a good outline of that. Stephanie, let's Melissa, unless there's any other questions.
Dennis, the only other question is perhaps you could just reaffirm the date for Buffalo Day at Chautauqua. It seemed like there was a little confusion about that.
Thank you. It's Tuesday, July 5th. It's a floating day, so it's not the same day every year. It is the 13th annual, and as mentioned, it's the first time for the full day, from morning till evening, that Buffalo residents are free for the day. And if they register beforehand, parking is included in that free pass. So take advantage, get the word out. We'll start to certainly publicize it through the Imagine program. And both created by C-SAAHN, the Center for the Study of Art, Architecture, History, and Nature. So glad to hear that. Stephanie, what a great way to kick this couple of months off. You'll be followed relative to Buffalo Day speakers. Adam Rome has written a book out of School of Architecture, UB School of Architecture and Planning. Dean Bob Shibley will be speaking in June, as will David Rotterman from WNED TV. They'll be showing their Olmsted video down at the cinema at Chautauqua, and he'll have a talk, behind the scenes talk of the making of and questions about Olmsted, certainly. So it'll be a full day along with other speakers. The former Secretary of the Interior is the amphitheater speaker under the Obama administration. So check out Chautauqua's website. And as I say, once you get to Chautauqua's website, just search for Buffalo Day and all the information will flow from there. So let's see who we've got going on next. We'll simply thank you for joining us today and remind you about beginning to talk about Buffalo Day, July 5th. And we hope to see you back here again next Tuesday, May 10th on Zoom, as we're joined by the new Buffalo and Erie County Public Library Director, John Spears. I'm Dennis Galucki. Be well and good day.